Welcome to the MB Talk Show. It's wedding season!
In honor of wedding season coming up in the summer, does anyone have any previous experience working with wedding planners?
Yes, I do. Last May, my sister got married, and she had a wedding planner through the event space that she was getting married at. So it was at a country club. And 2 weeks before her wedding, her event planner got fired from the company. So we had to find a new wedding planner, but luckily the company brought someone from another one of their sister properties to come and work there. So they did kind of like an internal switch for their wedding planner so that my sister could still have someone that was knowledgeable about the facility and everything that was to go on, but it was pretty scary. Anybody else?
I have a little bit of experience with weddings. I worked a lot with the sales team at a resort where we did weddings, 2 weddings a week all summer, which wedding season's coming up very shortly, so it'll be back to that. I know it gets really busy at hotels, resorts, and things like that. And the sales team worked very closely with the wedding planners, especially when it came to the momzillas, which I found there were a lot more of than the bridezillas somehow.
Yes.
So yeah, there was a lot of interesting experiences with working with different wedding planners and having them 2 in the same building at the same time, sometimes 3 depending on however many weddings we had going on.
Absolutely. Yeah. So has anybody been like reading anything in the news recently since it's like coming up?
Yeah, so that's really interesting because I was reading this article online and it's about a company that is a relatively new company. It was launched in 2006 and it's called WeddingWire. And the problem that they were having with the company is that they were they were stuck between wanting to keep the company culture by promoting within, but also needing more experienced employees to kind of keep up with the rapid growth and development of the company. And then up until this point, it's kind of been standard practice for the company to keep hiring within, but they've also been trying to train employees to kind of succeed in their new roles within the company. But then as the company has been developing and becoming more complex, there's kind of been this urgency to fill roles with people who can bring fresh perspective into the company and kind of have more experience and expertise on the knowledge in their field. Does anyone else have any experience?
Well, I think that that's one of the biggest issues that can come up with hiring in the workplace in general, but especially in the hospitality industry, because it's that fine line between, do we advance people from below to work up in the top, or do we bring in experienced people that already have that prior knowledge? So it's looking at, do we want to spend the money to look at those training facilities and invest in that, or invest in people who already kind of have that knowledge? But then where does the culture come in? Does it become different because we're bringing in people from the outside? So how can that company kind of work on keeping the culture that they want, but also having the talent that they want too?
That's true. Yeah, I can see a little bit of that, like internal hire. Like if the company culture is already developed, then it makes more sense to go internal hire. But if the company culture isn't fully developed yet, maybe they should look into external hire, maybe do a little like application, then they could eliminate like all the unqualified candidates. And maybe if they really wanted to develop a strong company culture, they could do some sort of personality assessment, or even just like a one-on-one in-person interview and get to see how the person reacts, even do a fun little interview like what kind of animal would you be if you were to be an animal and why, and then maybe they could get even further into the situation and do like a program rotational development thing. Maybe it's like 6 months. They could shadow someone or just fill in the roles at least once a week in each department, and then spend even 2 weeks in a managerial role to see how it really goes and like learn all the functional pieces for the company.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it would be really important to have it be like a really structured system set in place. Like before bringing in anybody new, they would want to have it set up so it's 3 weeks doing this, 3 weeks doing that. Started out like from the ground up kind of, just to really get a good idea, like start that company culture, like right, like when your foot hits the ground, like start running. If they can just do all the different positions, I think that would help a lot, like to do that rotational idea, like similar with hotels and restaurants.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also like that because it's a great opportunity to actually learn every person in the different departments and get to learn about all the different aspects that makes the company culture what it is. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that if they're struggling with the culture, that bringing in outside people can maybe help grow whatever they're trying to do, because maybe the internal people don't know what they want, and so that's why it's been struggling for so long. So I think that bringing in the external people would be better. And then maybe there are some stronger people internally that can be coaches to them and coach them on the culture and kind of how things work at WeddingWire, so they just don't come in and change everything, because they are like struggling with that. But I think that would be good to kind of mix those two together, but still have like that coaching, like mentor kind of mentality for the internal helping the external hires.
Yeah, that sounds good.
With how they're trying to grow, I know it's really going to be important to get external hires at this point in the game. I think that they've exhausted all they can with internal hiring and internal promotions. I think it'll be important to get those new faces into the company and get them into the training program as soon as possible.
Absolutely. So how long do you think it will take for the program that you were kind of suggesting to be implemented so that the company can get to where they want to be, culture-wise and with like employees?
I think it should take some time, like at least a few months, because you don't want to hurry up and rush and just get anyone to be right, to have them right on the boat and like just have it all rushed. I think they should really take some time to look into all and every candidate that applies, or even just give people the time that they need to look for the opportunity and apply. And then even just like taking the time to learn each candidate, like you don't want to just rush and have anyone and fill in the position and hurry up and like, oh hey, we need to fill this position. Like it's just better in the long term to just be patient with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Esther or Gabby, do you guys have any other comments about this company and what you think's going on with them?
I think it's good to have external people come in to have like new ideas and things going on with the company, and then the internal people can kind of help them keep the company culture. And if they're rotating through each department, it's good to build relationships with everyone around you, so then you're not like just with your own clique in the company.
Yeah. And have you seen that by working in the industry that like having that rotational experience helps? Well, I'm not sure. Did you have rotational experience when you were there?
I have.
Okay, perfect.
So I found when I worked, at least in the restaurant industry, the rotational experience was super important. I know with the hosts and servers, there's always a clash there. So it was really nice for me to get both sides of that, and I was able to kind of be a middleman for that aspect. And then it's also important with banquets and dining and hotels, because you're working with different people every single day. You have a whole new set of clientele in there every single day that you're serving, that you're working with, that you're decorating with. So I think it's really important to get a good understanding of different people and rotate through positions to really see how everybody works, and it builds a stronger team, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Awesome. So I think even though the internal worked for the company that my sister had used, I think that external would be best for WeddingWire. Do we think that would be good for them?
Yeah.
Hopefully that they'll have a good wedding season in 2019.
So to conclude with all that, I think it's safe to say that we all believe that external hiring for this specific company would be most beneficial for this company, and it'll just create a better working environment with everyone, bringing the new people in, just having fresh ideas, and then keeping some of the old people around just to keep the company culture, and they'll work with each other in every department and just creating a bond between everyone.
Absolutely. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for joining us for the MB Talk Show, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.